Live, and we are here. Welcome to another edition of DJ Vision. So, we definitely got a guest coming on the show momentarily. I'm just waiting for her to get ready, but in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and start by pulling up something so I could get generate these topics and have them going. It's definitely gonna be an interesting debate, or it's gonna be an interesting panel. It may not necessarily be a debate because we may agree on a lot of things, but you'll see. I'll let my guest introduce herself, and also let's get into this. So, appreciate you guys for coming. Really, I have no idea how much I appreciate y'all. And we're gonna get into this topic today. A few topics. We're gonna start with this topic right here, and then we're gonna go down the list. So that's something real important I gotta play right now, and then we're gonna go on with the show. Okay, perfect. And let's get
just when you thought it couldn't get any stupider. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live, make a video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the join button so you can join the Tatum Squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you think they can't get any stupider, these BLM protesters, they just keep one-upping each other. And think about this for a minute. They are storming the suburbs of Seattle. They are storming the suburbs of Seattle, or they would call the white neighborhoods in Seattle. They're storming them, claiming that white people need to give up their homes so that black people can go live in them because they've been gentrified. All of this BS that just continue to go on, they continue to push this message of foolery, weakness, and lies. Look, man, if y'all didn't make the right decisions, you did not build economic success, this is what happens. You can't. Why are you blaming the white people? And white people aren't the only ones a part of the gentrification. People with money are a part of gentrifying. Black people who got money are a part of gentrifying. Indian people who have money, Native people who have money, Hispanic people who have money, and white people who have money. Pretty much everybody who has money are a part of the gentrification. So why is it that it's okay for BLM to just attack white people
to the point where people
and claim that they're racist and they need to move out? I want you to listen to this clip. There's profanity in it. I'm just gonna. If you don't want to listen to it, fast forward. There's profanity in it because I need you guys to hear very clearly what these fools are saying, how they're conducting themselves, and what they represent. As the guy goes up to the window with his pants sagging, roll the film.
You live in a historically black neighborhood. You live in a gentrified neighborhood. Yes. You're part of that gentrification. Yes. So how are you going to fix it? What are you going to do to fix it? Because you're part of that gentrification, that racist gentrification. How do you plan to fix it? Because you are living on black people land right now. Yes. I mean, native land, but black people live here too. Yes. So how do you plan to fix it? As a gentrifier, because you are part of that problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is pure anger. This is not equality. This is revenge and anger. Yelling. I used to live in this neighborhood. What are y'all doing? Spend your time fixing the other neighborhoods that's occupied by black folks. How about you spend your time? Why don't you go to your neighborhood and yell? Why don't you go to your neighborhood and build something? Why are you going to the neighborhood where you claim is all white? And the funny thing is they go to a white person. They're not going to anybody else. If you ever been to Seattle, Seattle is probably one of the most diverse places that I've ever been to. I've been to the mall in Seattle, get my son a haircut in the mall. There's Indian people, There's Asian people, there's black people, there's white. I mean, there's all kinds of culture in Seattle. People that obviously don't live in the United States of America. A lot of people from Canada come to Seattle. Immigrants are in Seattle. Seattle is a melting pot. But they find one white person in the community to be racist against. This is racism. People like you. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen. Just go down imaginary lane with me. Just imagine if white people who were pushed out of a community by wealthy black people will go to a black man's doorstep, a bunch of white people yelling with bullhorns, go to it and say, people like you, this used to be an all-white area. People like you need to give up your stuff and let us live in here. Cussing them out, saying all kind of derogatory stuff. Well, how would the country receive that? Then my question to the world is that why don't we receive it the same way that we would receive it if the roles were reversed and it was white people yelling at a black person? It is just as disgusting to me if the roles were reversed and white people were yelling at a black person than if black people were yelling at a white person. It's just as disgusting. It's just as delusional and disgusting, hateful and evil. But somehow, not us, because we smart. You and I, we smart. All these other people, they're too delusional to look at things in a realistic perspective. Gentrification and all this other stuff that people make excuses about year after year after year is not getting you anywhere. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about gentrification. You need to be focused on what are you doing in your own community to make your community better. What education have you gotten so you can give back? Because I guarantee you, every single person that has become successful and that is black, 95%, they move out of these inner city black communities. I'm talking about if you look at the big picture all around the country. I'm not talking about somewhere in Atlanta. I'm talking about you look around the whole country. When black folks make it, they move out of the black community and go live with the white people. I'm keeping it real. You want me to keep it real? You want me to play games? They leave the community, go live with white people. All these NFL players. Do the Chicago Bears live in Southside Chicago? No, they don't. Wherever the rich people live in Chicago, that's where the football players live. Or they live in the uptown. They don't live in the hood. Now, do I blame them? No, I don't. Because the hood has nothing to do with black, white, green, or orange. The hood is poverty. And then you can move to get somewhere where you're safe and you have amenities that they just don't have there. But if you're going to be a complainer, if you're going to be crying about gentrification, then you should be going to these major NFL players and black people who are wealthy and tell them, why don't they come buy up this community? Why don't they come buy up these homes? Why are they not gentrifying their own community? They got the money. No, they don't do that. They go live with the white people. I'm just saying. I ain't never seen somebody, NFL or not, that was rich and they go move in the hood to build the hood up. It's not happening. It's not happening. And some of these college kids that they know they scared at night when they're in sketchy areas. They know that they don't have their college dorm room, or at least their housing. They're not going to have it in the hood. They're going to try to stay near campus. And they're going to give all these lectures about how not to, try to entertain the homeless, how to defend yourself at night. They go through all these courses and they are open and understanding that these communities are devastated, but they don't go help. They don't live in the community. They just complain. And that's why I draw the line. Stop complaining and do something about it. Quit being weak, quit being a phony, quit being a fraud, and go do something about the things that you're complaining. Stop looking to the white man to do something for you today. Stop looking for the white man to make excuses of why you're not progressing. The reason you're not progressing is because you walk around with your pants sagging and you're yelling at people talking about their parents should have swallowed. How do you rationalize? How can anybody rationalize with you? And that's your approach. Running around screaming and cussing at people is not going to get you anywhere. You're in a bullhorn. How much you be smart enough to set up a community meeting and talk to the people in the community and say, how do we work together to get more black people in this community? How do we work together to do the things that I want to get accomplished? Do we have a mutual understanding? But they don't want that. They want hatred. They want vitriol.
Fuck 'em.
And a lot of the reason why they're doing this because they ain't got no job. They sit at home. The government is paying them money to go out and protest. And I'm not exaggerating. If you are unemployed right now because of COVID, then they pay you unemployment check or they pay you a stimulus check. You use that check to feed yourself, and then you go out in the streets and you protest all day. That's what they're doing. If you don't believe it, look at it for your own eyes. I'm glad I don't live in Seattle. I will never live in Seattle unless I'm probably living in Bellevue or live somewhere in the outskirts around Seattle. I will never live in Seattle proper. I just won't do it. I won't do it. Maybe I'll get a house, a condo out there or something in Bellevue that I'll stay there for like 2 months out of the year when God blessed me enough to make enough money like that. But beyond that, I never go to Seattle. I don't like Seattle. It's trashy. It rains all the time. It's ugly. It's muggy. And the politics suck. Only thing that's good about Seattle is there's some good food, there's some fresh fish, and it's diverse. That's it. Everything else sucks. I'm just keeping it 100. And y'all that live in Seattle, don't get mad at me. Get mad at your city council. Don't get mad at me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, other people that live in King County, your stuff probably nice. Seattle, I've been there several times. It ain't too pretty. And they need to get their stuff together. Police chief just quit. They had the Chaz on. Now black people going to white people community telling them they need to move out because of gentrification. Come on, man. You're going to lose your whole city. Ain't nobody going to want to live there anymore. Anyway, I can talk about this for 3 or 4 more hours. I need you to go look at all the other videos that I make. Comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Is B Tatum tripping or am I on to something? Visit TatumReport.com. It's the website where you can get 100% verifiable news, 100% free to you. Go on, subscribe, donate if it's in your heart to do so. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.
Oh.
Can't wait till we get to come and visit.
Oh, I miss you so much.
So, y'all get that part. Y'all understand that part. And why do people make it ignorance? I'm about to ask you a question. I'm about to answer it. Why people make excuses and then turn around and want somebody else to do everything? But lack of character, lack of effort. What say you? So we really got to figure that out as a people in general. But I say as a people just because the ignorance is like it's being promoted, it's being okay, you know. And there's no difference than you telling businesses that if you loot their stores and steal whatever you want, that's reparations because your ancestors and yeah. Like, so why would I want a business? Why would I want a business if that's approved just off the ball? Why would I want a business? In general, that means I can't put my business in the city because you are promoting the fact that and these people, they not just looting white stores, Louis Vuitton, they looting almost anybody and everybody. So yeah, some people got to figure out what they want out of the situation. What's going on? Bro. Welcome.
Hey, DJ.
What's going on, bro?
It's been a pretty busy week for me.
Yeah.
Hey, Autumn, how are you doing?
Autumn. What's going on?
I miss Autumn.
Yeah, she said she'll pop up in a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
And then I got this guest that's still trying to get on, still trying to get up in here. She's trying.
Is she having some technical issues?
I'm assuming. I'm guessing. I'm still in contact with her though. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna continue. But I did have a few topics I'm gonna get through regardless. How the show goes, and I definitely had a few spots to hit, especially what's going on this week and lately. So, how do you feel about one topic was definitely about the legitimacy from Kamala Harris and the fact that it's being a lot of posts that have been it's so true and it's so true about certain things that are going on with her and if she was the top cop that let me read this post that I had posted specifically about her said that this top cop and she was sitting there in a uniform also. She basically the dude was complaining that she had somebody wrongfully convicted, did nothing about it, and then basically he did 2 to 3 years based on something he didn't do, and then it was no resolve. Somebody else resolved the situation, and there's no sorry, there's no nothing, no remorse. But that was a black person. But then you say, "Well, here we go, Black Lives Matter," and that's just one case. That's somebody who put it out there, put the whole situation information out there. Um, but there's plenty more cases that definitely need to get out there. Let me look at it right now. It says my friend Jamal Trulove was framed for murder by Kamala Harris when she was a district attorney in San Francisco. He was sentenced to 50 years to 50 years to life in prison for a crime he had nothing to do with. Spent 7 years in prison before he was extinguished.
Exonerated.
Yeah, there we go. Exonerated. So, and and he was saying he's going to say basically that's just one, but this is a black woman and blah blah blah. And he wanted to be a vice president. Like, I don't know how that
How
worked.
was he exonerated? What got him out? Was it the First Steps Act?
It's it says where we found it that as far as how I don't see that. I'm gonna have to do more research on that, but yeah, it doesn't specifically say how. Oh, it was based on evidence. Yeah, I just know it was based on evidence, but basically after the 7th year, you when you're doing these long sentences like that, you could basically fight your case if they presume you're gonna be in there for 50 years. You'll be able to appeal your situation, and if it's already proven before appeals that you don't have enough evidence, that the evidence doesn't stack up with the charges, you get out early, and they basically almost got to. Sometimes they pay you. Sometimes they pay you, but it looked like they just let them out, and then the bygones be bygones. But that's just crazy. I can't see myself doing 7 years because of somebody else on purpose, on accident. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Kamala Harris is all about Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
I sound horrible.
Hmm.
Do you hear an echo from me?
Nope.
It's
just I don't want to say muffled, but it sounds different.
I'll get that fixed in a moment. The Kamala Harris, that's hilarious. And nobody can get over this. Even a lot of Democrats are realizing, wait a minute, she spent half of her presidential campaign calling Joe Biden a freaking racist rapist.
Racist, rapist, I was that little girl, everything.
Now suddenly, best friends.
Best
Best
friend.
friends.
Made that one phone call. You ready to work? So it's like she does love older guys. So that empowering. So I think a lot of people are naive, and You know, even I forgot his name, but that older guy that she used to date, who was married at the
Willie
time,
Brown.
Willie Brown.
Willie Brown.
He
Her
even
her
came out and
boss.
said, she shouldn't be running. So
He also came out and said, "Yeah, I tapped that." No, that wasn't his exact words, but he came out. He didn't need to come out and say anything, but he did anyway because he was claiming his trophy.
Yeah,
At least that's my view of it.
pretty much. So that's definitely. It's gonna be funny during the debate when they bring that up. That's where they're gonna feel it the most. Yeah, I want to see Pence go against Kamala because I believe that's going to be the biggest highlight. You don't necessarily need Trump. Pence got enough fire, knowing that Joe Biden is not going to speak for himself. Not even not necessarily. He's not going to speak for himself. We already know if he's elected, she will be president, and he'll just be the body. Like so.
Assuming he lasts that long.
And there we go. Your audio is fixed. But pretty much, I'm like, dude, what is he? 78, almost 80.
And senile, very senile.
It's abuse. We already called it elder abuse. Like, where's family? like, where's his son? We haven't seen him.
His son doesn't care about anything. Friggin' got his brother's widow pregnant and a stripper pregnant around the same time. Like, this dude doesn't care about anything. He's had too much crack. His emotions are gone. Like, the entire family of Joe Biden has just lived off of Joe Biden's corruption. They can't afford for this guy to die.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I just want people to just look up your candidate. That's it. That's it. I go out here, go to work, go somewhere. I just ask people, do you know anything? I use these nicknames. You know anything about Sleepy Joe? Or you know anything? They go, to be honest, I pretty much don't know nothing about the guy other than he's running. So I'm like, oh my God. How is that massively popular? But we all digging all into what's going on and doing our due diligence and research. Trump is 100% transparent, so we see everything he does. But to the lying left, it's like, dude, you gotta come up with some facts to back your statement up, please. Not emotional jumping and like, come on, man.
Well, the thing is, you ever watch that movie? Dang it, with Russell Crowe, where he was like the math genius.
I think so. He was the math genius. He had you talking about autism to the point where he was writing stuff on walls and he had to get it out.
Yeah, and he was just
but he was also a killer.
He wasn't a killer. He was crazy. He kept seeing people, like he had friends that he never knew exist, or he had friends that didn't actually exist. A beautiful mind. Beautiful mind. So one of the key tenets explained to that movie was the hardest thing to accept was that people that he's known his whole life have never actually existed. Okay?
Wow.
So look at these rabid leftists. We're looking at people that they just meant they don't want to accept. They can't accept that everything they've been brought up on, like the foundations of their humanity and psyche, are lies. They can't. I can understand why they're having a hard time trying to deal with that. Mm-hmm. Ironically, they're trying to say the same things about us when it comes to Trump, and I'm like, well, yeah, Democrats didn't hate him until he ran as a Republican, so that's a difficult sell.
Yep, Trump derangement syndrome. I even found pictures back when Shabba Ranks used to take pictures with Trump. They used to hang out like he was like the guy, that guy. And he's a popular Jamaican artist. And also another one named what's his name? Another one that was in the 80s and 90s. I forget his name, but nevertheless, he was so popular inside our community. We just let it go when it came to politics, only because he was on the right side. And I think it reminds me of like gang mentality. So as soon as people find out that you represent the political party that they don't represent, they switch socially. I necessarily don't. If you got good views, you got good views. I necessarily don't care about your party. If you able to change your party's mind on their views, especially if we both could agree on something.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I would still debate a Democrat. I would still try to find common ground, especially a lot of pro-gun Democrats from this year that came out of nowhere because they weren't banning guns at first. So, yeah, it's a lot of things that need to be changed. And how do you feel about this? Uh, Black Lives Matter protesters going to the suburbs, upper suburbs, and saying, "You white people, y'all got to give up y'all houses because Native people used to live here, and we black, and that's our people too, and so we give us your stuff, like let us move in there." Like, come on.
What
Like,
happened to a cultural appropriation? How's that okay now?
the fact that they didn't work for anything, didn't work their way up, they ain't got no job, have no goals or work ethic at all. It's like, okay.
I'll donate some lead to them.
Enough for you to say, hey, I'm coming to live with you now.
Boom.
I'm coming to live with you now. Reparations and your ancestors and yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more destruction in some of these larger areas than what we knew about. Because I was actually talking to a friend today who lived in Southern California, and apparently, like a lot of the big cities down there, because Southern California along the coast, it's nothing but a giant city of cities.
Mm.
They've had like El Cajon and all those areas around there just burned to the ground. So there's a lot more destruction going on that we are not hearing about because the mainstream media does not want us to know.
That's great. And have you also heard about the clashes between BLM and the 3%? I got a lot
Oh,
of
you mean
3%.
at the Stone Mountain?
I just seen the live today. I don't know where they were at, but I
I'm
seen the
pretty sure
live
it was
this
at Stone
morning.
Mountain.
I seen the live going on. Yeah, it's like continuous for some reason. I don't know if they're doing it every single day, but I seen it today and yesterday on live on somebody else's commentary on their YouTube when they went live, and they were video cameraing it. They were inside the crowd, whatnot. And I seen some people get made. I seen some people get pepper sprayed, and some guy that some guy had a. There's a lot of black people out there with guns. I know that much. I didn't see too many white people with guns. I only seen a few, and the ones that did have guns didn't talk. They let somebody else talk, and they were just like the peacekeepers. Like, they was just sitting there with their ARs while some black lady just ran up and said, "Ah, and I wish you would hit me, and I wish you would." And then you gotta have some white person comes over and stands in between them. So she was already getting like this close to his face, basically spitting. But if I got an AR and like, I'm not about to pop it off, you the one that's gonna pop something off. You coming to me. I'm silent. I'm just looking at you like I'm watching a movie. It's like, it reminds me of what Jesse Lee says. When they start getting emotional, going crazy, especially mama, just look at them. Just watch them like you're watching a movie. They'll start to change, and it'll get bigger. You'll start to get more angrier when an emotional person confronts you and you don't respond to their energies. It start to get worse.
Well, they need that. They need that emotional fire back, so it justifies their own anger. But if you just look at them like they're stupid, they don't know what to do about it.
It's just crazy. But
I mean, it's completely irrational. If they truly thought they were in danger, why are they going up to a guy with a loaded gun?
that's the same question I ask when people say blacks are afraid of cops, but you got a black lady smacking the crap out of a cop and expecting just nothing. And then she got smacked back. And then she got smacked right back by the other officer because the one that got smacked, he just didn't know what to do. He was just like, what do I do? Like, he's never been in that predicament before.
Well, yeah, they're in a horrible conundrum down there in Atlanta. I don't know why there's still cops on the force. I keep saying all these cops in these areas where their own city councils and their mayors are trying to defund them. You know, in the process of defunding them, they're also defunding their pensions. So they just need to take their pensions out of that city system, friggin' put it somewhere else. They need to pack up their car, leave.
Yeah.
Because if they actually defend themselves and die, or somebody innocent people die because they're too afraid to actually do some policing, that's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to damn, what I was gonna say. When it comes to the mayor, she already knew they was taking money out of her pension. All of that. That's the same reason. That's another reason, but the same reason why she got up and went, took that retirement. She's gone. She's gone. So now they're gonna have to use daggone state, federal troopers or sheriffs to pick up their jurisdiction because they disbanded or disbanding them more than defunding. So like it's gonna be it's you see that being a trend everywhere. Um, like here in DC, I told you a couple weeks ago, I was hit 911. I couldn't get nothing. Imagine if somebody was shot. Like it's crazy. Just dial tones. I'm like, wow, that's real. That's a real thing. So, and it's funny because the mayor, she had the Black Lives Matter painted. My brother was out there feeding the homeless. She tipped the police off to them saying they weren't following the COVID rules. And they were literally feeding the homeless healthy, giving them sushi, like giving them like sushi rolls. They were doing it real good, not feeding them junk and garbage, you know. And she said that they weren't following the COVID health guidelines and had the police rip up their tents and all that. I thought they were they were in alliance with Black Lives Matter, but they were the only ones that weren't in that specific time. It was during that time with the violence in DC. They were the only docile ones out there. Just you got your table set up. Come on over here. Woo, woo. Here you go. Just feeding the homeless in a line, like in a soup kitchen. And then I had the police just come over there, just start tearing things down, ripping up tents and all that stuff. I'm like, come on. Now you just lost them. Now what? And then she just painted over Black Lives Matter like 3-4 days ago. So it's gone. So all that like she's playing them, in my opinion. Playing.
No, they have no clue what they're doing. They've been making bad decision after bad decision. This is all about being a tyrant at this point.
What? And it's funny because one thing is trending. Lesbian women of power. It's like it's like they getting that big power grab right now. From life, from Dirty Foot to everyone, to my man in DC. Bowser, and she has a wife. So they're not playing out here. They getting dirty, as we say. They getting dirty, and that's what I was talking about to my friend yesterday. I'm like, man, the Democrats, they playing dirty now. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. And if they playing dirty and we play soft, how we gonna win? That's not how you win. A fight, a battle, a war, a psychological war, propaganda wars. You know, everything is society's changing. Everything is gonna be changed within a few months, guaranteed, and at a speed that we ain't never seen before.
I think we're seeing the death of a lot of metropolitan areas in the concept of city life.
Mm-hmm.
People are just leaving.
Thank you. And then it's funny because the businesses are just getting up and going out of there.
This is their only choice.
And then where are you gonna go? And it's funny because somebody made a post said, "We know what you're not looting when it comes to having necessities. If you want to be legitimate about, you're looting. But some people loot and steal because they need some bread. Like like Cortez said that because they need some bread. You don't loot Louis Vuitton for no bread. You loot Louis Vuitton to sell their products.
They like the high-end bread.
Thank you.
Louis Vuitton bread.
Ooh.
I didn't know he made that.
Wow. or Tesla.
Finally, a bread with some fashion.
Or smart bread. Tesla
bread.
Tesla bread. It'll come right to you. It'll drone to you. So, I mean, we got to figure it out, man. And I definitely want to get boots on the ground. I can't even lie. I'm trying to organize, get in contact with a few people, trying to get some communications going. But we're going to talk more about that offline because I don't want to be an interference in the boots on the ground situation because that's really going to be intense and serious. Knowing if I'm ready and I go and I'm trying to protest my views, if you want to call it that, get my views out and put the word out in a blue state, say I go anywhere, or blue city, I want to make sure I'm good, you know. So, and I'm looking at all these lives of these clashes between the 3% and the Black Lives Matter. The fact that I think like a 3%er, I know a lot of 3%ers. I was gonna be a 3%er, but they almost basically disbanded. I mean, I know an older guy, but he was like, dude, a lot of us, we amputees and old guys from the war times, and these militias is just different now. Now it's just you got a few of them out there, just a small few as far as what I know of. But it's just a knowledge thing for me. Like, some people need to understand both sides of the story, man. I don't think they even want to. I think it's a lot of one-sided thinking, especially if you try to bring up facts.
Where's your girl at?
It looks like she ain't coming on. Oh my God. Yeah, well, I'm waiting, man. I'm trying to see what's going on. I don't know if she just sent me a message and I'm low key nervous. I'm like, and I realized that that reminds me of when I was viewing you for a long time, and then I came on. I was also being nervous. I got over it, and then that was it.
Yeah, because you're just talking. That's all it is.
Exactly.
But doesn't this girl already have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, but she does her YouTube channel pre-recorded and then just puts that video out. She don't do lives.
Yo, once you go live, you never go back.
It's real. It's you can have real time dialogue.
It's a little easier because you actually psych yourself out more when you're making a video because you're trying so hard to stick to a script.
Yeah.
But when you go do a live, things things just come out naturally, and you're like, oh, this is much better.
Mm-hmm. It actually helped with like social anxieties that I have that I didn't know I even had until I came on this kind of platform. Social anxieties based on reading out loud was one of them I had. What do you call that? What do you call that?
Fear of public speaking.
Yeah, but dyslexia is it's a rare form of dyslexia, public speaking. Um, that's a rare form also. Just that having people listen to you in real time, but talking to anybody and everybody and anybody can hear. That used to be a thing that I had, but I broke that. I'm good, man. I'm almost trying to get a response. I ask for responses out of people. I don't like to be talking to myself.
So, is she watching us right now?
I'm assuming I see somebody else is on here. I don't see nobody. Say hi if you're on. Come on and check me out. Too shy to come on. I understand. Just come on tomorrow. But I did I did have the title based on you coming up on to be my featured guest.
Lul'Nuuksters, I'm looking forward to meeting you. You seem so pleasant, so pleasant.
Right. So, well, I do want to pull something up in the meantime because this definitely was a topic that I was going to discuss. And this is a thing that I'm going to end up doing in the nearby future. But the reason why I was talking about the boots on the ground thing also combined with this was based on the fact that if I have an opinion, say I go to a college campus, I got my coffee mug, I got my sign that says Trump is not a racist, change my mind, and you already know what comes with that. So, or whatever, or it's only two genders, change my mind.
TrumpisBomb.com, change my mind.
Change my mind. So, like I'm trying to figure out, me as a black person, how to do this in both sides of the spectrum. I want to get responses from everybody. I just don't want to. I ain't scared of confrontation, but I don't want to. I want to make sure my goal gets out there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's about just being out there speaking the truth, just so it's there.
Right. And I'm definitely gonna get clapped back. I'm gonna get everything. Everything's gonna come my way after that. It's gonna end up going viral. So I'm preparing myself for all of this. But in the meanwhile, I was tuning into this.
Who's here, who wasn't here for the previous conversation. This is designed to be a discussion that hopefully opens a civil dialogue. I believe in searching for the truth. My presupposition is that there are two genders, and if you would like to change my mind on that, you're more than welcome.
Sure. Well, so I heard my boss talking a lot about a spectrum, not just in terms of like gender identity, but also in terms of really any biological trait, right? That humans exist on a spectrum, whether it's a racial spectrum, like there's people that are half something or whatever, biologically we're all on a spectrum. Some men can grow facial hair and some can't. Like some of it's defined by your chromosomes, some of it's defined by hormone levels, some of it's defined, I think you would not refute that we all exist biologically on a spectrum in terms of our phenotypes, right? And how we...
There are certainly differentiations between people. For example, you can have a multitude of men. Some are tall, some are short, some are fat, some are thin, some have red hair, brown hair. Yeah, but they're all men. Yeah.
It's nice when we can agree on something.
Yeah.
Well, so in terms of that spectrum, and where I hope that my existence can shed some light for you, I was actually born intersex, which means that you would never know this, and no one who's ever been sexually would ever know this either. But I was actually born with XY chromosomes, and so instead of having a uterus and ovaries, I had internal testes that were then removed from me by doctors who come from kind of your perspective and some similar perspectives that we need to normalize people to fit these society-driven standards of what a human is or should be.
I'm over here
but so for me, my question for you is, if I irrefutably was born intersex, I can.
That's okay. You don't. I'll just go.
I don't need to get my birth certificate.
No.
Yeah. Thank you. That was another thing. This whole birther thing, right? It's proving
Birther?
basic truth. Yeah, the whole birther movement, right? Like needing to show our birth certificates to like prove our legitimacy as humans. I'm thinking back to Trump and Obama and everything. Anyway, that's not where I was.
Yeah, unrelated.
Unrelated.
That was silly.
So if it is irrefutably true that I was born intersex and that actually almost 2% of the world's population, so 150 million individuals worldwide, were born intersex and then normalized through surgeries or otherwise. If we are born somewhere in between in terms of our like biological traits, then how can it not also be true that we might identify somewhere in between in terms of our gender and how that presents itself?
Okay.
Like certain people are born, for example, with breasts and a penis, or they might have ambiguous genitalia, or like me, like I was born with like, I hate that I have to sit here at a table with you talking about my genitalia. I don't believe any human should ever have to do that.
You don't have to.
Well,
you
the reason that
down.
The reason I am is because there are people like you and, that are, I was about to say with respect, but that don't respect basic biology, people's identities. And like, that was kind of my biggest argument against the bathroom bill when I was arguing with Lois Colcourse, is like, if you want to pass a discriminatory piece of legislation, at least open a bio textbook first. Like, it's not hard. Like, these are just like basic science.
Okay. So a couple of things there. First off, I hope you don't feel as like forced you to sit down here in any way.
No, you didn't force me, but the conversation and the existence of it, that's what forces me, because there are people who like are so fed up with having to legitimize their existence on a daily basis. When you don't have to do that, right? Like you were born in a way where like no one is challenging that, and that's something that I heard my boss talking about too.
It's actually not true. But we don't need to get into my personal history. Okay. So you mentioned a couple of things there. I want to sort of.
Water for
there isn't. We used to until we realized that it was a legal liability. If maybe Danielle can get you a bottle of water, because last thing you want is someone.
Okay. She wants to come on, but she says her volume is low. You are the big tech genius there in headquarters. Let me see. All we can do is trial and error. So don't worry about it. But let me drop the link for you. Because trust me, we dealt with this today. We deal with this a lot. This is nothing unfixable. We could work through it. Talk with each other instead of talking at each other.
Just talk with each other.
All right, so I did drop the link, and you could join whenever you can. I'll be able to cam you up once you work through it. And let me know where you at. But in the meantime, thou shall continue. Because this is interesting. I never heard of nothing like this in my life.
I'm saying that I poisoned you. I would never.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can understand. So you mentioned basic biology textbook, and then you immediately followed up with how someone identifies.
Yeah.
I think they're two separate issues. Now, I understand that you're intersex. We've talked about this with several.
Right. So then what do you think in relation to that?
Yeah. So we've talked about intersex. So another thing I would strongly disagree with.
Okay. And again, okay, she said she's on. I'm on there, but I can't hear. My volume's all the way up though, so.
Yeah, the volume's fine. If she's having a volume problem, it's on her end.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. That's what I'm gonna do. Go ahead and cam up. We'll get the feedback. If you can't hear, vice versa, we may be able to coach you through it based on what the problem is. Because y'all did that to me. Y'all did plenty times when y'all couldn't hear me, when I had headphones or whatever, or I had to put my headphones in. So seems like I'm pretty good today, but that's because the powers that be are behaving.
Statistically, you said 2% of the population are intersex.
I said almost 2. I believe it's 1.7.
I believe it's significantly lower than that, particularly in the Western civilization, much lower.
There's actually a dearth of data, though, as well, because what happens is doctors will play God and make a decision about what biological sex a child should have, and so they perform a surgery, and sometimes the parents aren't even made aware, or like with foster children, right? Like the state makes these decisions. So like,
so you would believe it's higher than 2%?
I don't have a printout of like a biotech book with me, but I don't want to argue with you.
You referenced a biological textbook.
Like irrefutable truths, right? We can talk about your opinion, right? But like, I don't want to argue with you about science.
Sure. Really. Well, you haven't stated any irrefutable truths, so let's get to what the truth is. Okay. So you believe it's higher than 2%?
I said 1.7, and that's.
But you said because doctors play God, the number's likely higher.
Oh yeah, right, exactly, yeah, okay. and because this is also like when data started being collected, right? Like, is after a lot of these decisions have been made. There are people that aren't told by their parents or by doctors and don't even know until maybe they don't get their period, or something like that. That like helps them realize that they've been born different.
Right. So I want to make. You believe it's higher than 2%, or you believe the statistic you've used is accurate? Because you just said biological truths. I want to make sure.
The statistic that I cited is as accurate as the information that we have available right now.
Okay.
That information, as I just mentioned, is not necessarily fully comprehensive.
Sure. So you believe it could be higher? I want to make it sure.
That are made by doctors.
Okay. I would say the statistic is significantly lower from the literature that I've read. But again, let's remove intersex from the table because we're talking about transgender. We're not generally talking about intersex. So intersex Klinefelters, there are genetic anomalies.
But that was my question.
Yeah, well, let me answer. Can I answer your question?
Between, then why would their gender? So biologically, they're born in between.
Am I going to be allowed to answer at any point?
Well, question, because you said I'm talking about intersex and you're talking about transgender. But for me, this is related because
I'm gonna bring up a better one.
In between,
this is not going to be
as physical manifestation,
one I said
right?
earlier.
Sure.
So then, why should they have to choose? I'm a male or a female.
They were literally about to fight
a male or a female. Like, yeah, that's my question.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to answering your question. All this was very imperative in answering your question because you said biological realities. People need to read a textbook, and then you mentioned how somebody expresses themselves, how they identify. There are two different issues. I'd like to address them separately if we can.
But they're
because
not
I agree.
That
because
is my
I
question.
Well, let me answer.
My question.
I am answering your question.
If people are biologically
if we take away, I'm just going to keep talking as though you're polite here. So if we take intersex and we take, for example, Klinefelters.
What?
We take, for example, intersex. We take Klinefelters. We take genetic anomalies that are very outside of the norm. So, for example, there's some people who talked about this earlier. There are some people who are born without feet. There are some people who are born with webbed hands. There are some people who are born with 12 fingers and toes. But if what we teach in biology class is that human beings have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 feet, 10 fingers and toes. We don't teach biology. We don't identify biology based on certain based on outsiders. Yeah, we don't. That's not how we teach biology.
So
that's not how doctors treat biology. So let me go to your. So I want to separate what we were talking about there: intersex and a very small percentage versus transgenderism. People who choose to identify who aren't born that way. But because you keep pressuring me on that, let's go to intersex. Let me ask you this: were you among the statistical reality where you had some very distinct primary sex characteristics as intersex? Because the vast majority of people born intersex are not LGBTQAIP activists
at all.
They're people who are born with very clearly identifying traits. It's not just right in between. The vast majority have micro penis and large clitoris, internal testes, and it's pretty easy to identify. So was that the case with you?
Yes, I was identified at birth as being intersex.
Okay, but
not everyone is, because as I mentioned,
no, was it the case where you were identified as a female pretty quickly? You had primary sex-defining traits in that of a female?
Well, I was assigned a female because of the choice of the doctor that worked on me, right? But like I was born in between. So for me, like a doctor made a choice that even though I was born in between, even though they knew because of a amniocentesis, so they knew before I was born that I had XY chromosomes, but because I was born with a vagina, they knew that I was intersex, but because there's a doctor again who plays God and makes the decision because it's all going to go on the birth certificate, I was assigned female at birth.
Okay, so you didn't transition later on in life?
No.
Okay. So my question again for you is just because the statistics would reflect that the overwhelming majority of people born intersex are not just born directly in between the two. There's a very clear delineation with identifying sexual characteristics with male and female.
That's so not true. There's chimerism. There's no.
It is true. But so moving on from the intersex, if we remove that, I think that what you're saying is correct. I would certainly separate you.
Telling someone who is born a certain way that you know more about the science of my existence than I do.
I'm not. The literature is there.
And I want to talk about our sides agreeing or being able to have productive conversations. I think that maybe that's a first step in y'all's camp, is like not assuming that you know better than everyone else who's known a certain experience.
I don't. Just like I don't interrupt.
Well, I'm sorry, you're interrupting my day by questioning my existence and my boss's existence. So I'm
Wow.
You came and sat down with him.
I didn't question your
Thank
existence.
you.
I haven't questioned your existence. And I haven't interrupted you. And I haven't said that I know more than you. Only you have done that in this conversation. So right now we're at a crossroads. We want to continue with this conversation and it to be civil and
I'm
to
just glad
disagree.
this is being televised or whatever, recorded.
As am
I look
I.
forward to watching it after.
So if we remove intersex and very small percentage of outliers, let's say it's the 1.7, I don't agree, but we'll go with that. Now we're addressing the transgender issue, that gender is a spectrum. So
yes.
Why? How many genders are there? Why do we go with that? Because that's very separate from genetic anomalies of intersex.
Right. Gender is a societal construct. So as my boss mentioned, there is a spectrum. So some people identify purely female or purely male. Some people identify in between. You already talked about the different pronouns that are available. And it's based on your something intrinsic that you were born with in your head. So we've proven, for example, that in terms of sexual orientation, that being gay is not a disorder. It's just like a biological reality. It's a human condition, right? And being transgender is the same thing. It's like you're born. There's actually studies that have come out now that transgender brains more closely align with the gender of the brain that they identify with than the brain of how they were born.
Can I address that?
Sure.
I have a question. So you said so. I want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting your view. You said gender is a societal construct. Those were your words.
But you still believe in
So if gender is a societal construct, how can there be a male brain and a female brain?
Thank you.
Because there are brains that fit like more. If we're thinking about a spectrum, right? Like there's brains that fall here on the spectrum, brains that fall here on the spectrum. Like each brain biologically is different. Like we know this because of genetic variants. And so some people identify more with traits that we categorize as female, and so those brains look more similar to those who.
I'm sorry, but what you're taking you said it's a societal construct, and now you're making a biological argument. Is there biologically a male brain and a female brain that are different?
There is biologically a brain that is closer to a binary example of how people who identify as male and present that way. Their brain looks more similar. And so even if they have been born with a body that, based on what we talk about in society, or, phenotypically, like having certain like genitalia or gonads that we would say are female, their brain still looks more biologically similar, like when doing a brain scan, to someone who identifies as male. Like there's certain types of brain that exist on that spectrum.
Can you see how for me that's not a super clear answer? And I want to make sure that I don't get your presupposition incorrect. There are generally male brains.
I do a lot of
generally female.
I know that like getting people to repeat the same answer.
No, it's not. None of this will be
for like an outlier that you can then cut and splice into something. But
none of this will be
edited. All the way through.
None of this will be edited.
Okay.
None of it. All of this from beginning to end. If this goes up, if this interview, we don't put up an interview that is edited. So I want to make sure that I understand your point of view here. They're generally considered a male brain biologically. And there is generally what is considered a female brain biologically.
Right, by how we as a society define male and female. But they're just like
two ends
of
the biological makeup of a brain is not societal. Biological makeup of a brain is biological.
But what I'm saying is so what I'm saying, the brain that you call the male brain or the female brain with what you're saying.
You didn't call it nothing. You did.
I'm saying is closer to.
You need to tell her to stop
mansplaining. That you were referring to as a male brain.
Thank you.
You refer to it that way. So I want to make sure I'm correct that you believe there is a male brain generally and a female brain generally.
Yes when I'm explaining my answer, when I'm giving you my answer.
Okay.
My answer is what you are referring to as a male brain is more.
But I didn't. You did. That's why it's important. You brought this up, male brain and female brain. I'm trying to understand what you brought up. I didn't bring up male brain, female
brain. What society is referring to as a male brain.
What society?
Whether that person
that you agree
was born, regardless of their genitalia and their physical presentation to the world, their brains are more similar in certain ways. And that is because there's a spectrum of types of brains. And so there's a brain that's like that, and then there's a brain that's slightly to the right on the spectrum, and then one that's slightly to the right of that. And there's this whole spectrum of types of brains, just as there is a spectrum of types of skin color or facial hair, all these different things that we've talked about, right? And so what we have found is there is actually a correlation between this identity and a brain that looks a certain way. So people aren't making something up. It's like something that intrinsically that they are born feeling and identifying in this way. Right?
Feeling and identifying in a way. Okay,
yeah.
And this is important because the biology and the identification are two very different things. So I'm going to continue along the premise which you originally expressed. There is, I certainly agree with the biology. There is a biologically defined male brain and female brain. They're different. They operate differently. There are different developments in different portions of the brain. They fire differently. They have different levels of neurotransmitters. They respond to stimuli differently. There's a male brain and a female brain, absolutely.
And
there are some anomalies. There are some very huge number of outliers in between, but not much.
Huge.
There's a male brain and a female
$20
brain.
worth with no argument.
Well, the entire world exists on a spectrum. And then there are limitless genders and limitless brains. How do you determine what's right with the literature? How do you run a scientific study if you're saying there's a limitless number of brain types and a limitless number of identification types? How do you set up as a study?
If myself to threaten your daily existence, then why do you care?
It does. It does. It doesn't threaten my existence. I believe the restructuring of Western civilization is based on, I don't believe gender is fundamentally interchangeable. I don't believe men and women are interchangeable.
Only Western civilization is right, is what you're saying? Because they're
that's a different conversation, but yes.
Or
really?
Yes.
So the whole white supremacist and Western perception of society is what is right.
I don't believe white supremacy is right at all.
Well, Western civilization is arguably founded by the colonization by white people.
Here we go.
People
How do we get
color
there?
That existed already.
No, Western civilization is not founded on white supremacy at all. So I believe Western civilization, a civilization that allows people to live freely, the civilization that freed slaves, the civilization that brought you that iPhone technology, paved roads, plumbing. The Romans did that earlier on, but it was very primitive. Yeah, I believe Western civilization is right. And a fundamental role in Western civilization is that of male and female. And I believe that that is very important as it relates to what we teach children, very important as to how we rear children, very important as to how we jail people if we're going to define pronouns, if we're going to define gender identification. I think it's important if we're going to.
Ooh. Your girl coming on?
She is in about 2 minutes.
Really?
Yep, but it's actually my girl's mom. And she's here. Hey, mom. Say, nah, he's more close to my age. All right, let me shoot the link and stop this. Boom. Okay. Yep. Go ahead, drop this link for you. Appreciate you coming on, anybody. And also, check this out. We're going to have more shows like this in the future. This is definitely going to be a longer show than my other shows usually because this is the weekend and we have more time. Depending on who can stay and who can't stay, we will continue. Because people got families. So I dropped that link and go ahead and cam yourself up and I will bring you on here. Appreciate you for coming on the show, everybody. Black Spring with Autumn, shout out. And anybody who's watching this, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Shout out to my longtime guest already on the show, Old School Wolf.
Happy to be here.
Appreciate you. Just don't get on his nerves. Okay, and hey, we got a guest. Appreciate you coming on. And I can actually hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, right on.
I appreciate you coming on, man. I thought you was going to check it out. But hey, everybody's shy. Before I did this, you can ask him. I watched at least 10 of his streams before I came.
I kept inviting you on too.
Yep. He kept dropping the link, and I was just, I never did it before. I never got in an open panel like that before. So, what's your perspective on what's going on in today's climate? We do got a few topics to hit down the list, but the first topic I did want to talk about was Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. That is a big topic because when you think about it, Black Lives Matter is not for us. That's something that got to do with George Soros. It was never for us, and it's basically got to do with that LGBTQ, whatever shit that is.
Mm-hmm. Because they actually added, they still we got a fellow conservative named Kingface who tried to promote, he tried his best to promote all lives matter. With that same statement, they took the hashtag all lives matter and started BLMing it,
Right.
and saying that LGBT lives matter, transgender lives matter. We wasn't even talking about that. How did we even get there? You know what I'm saying? Y'all hijacked a movement about everybody.
Exactly.
So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then everything that's been going on as far as the election and all this. I mean, I never was a Trump supporter, but as far as Trump got a lot going on. I mean, he is fighting. It don't got nothing to do with race. It's basically a good versus evil type shit right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it don't have nothing to do with nobody race or none of that. And I wish people would see that. And then just like Biden picking Kamala Harris as his VP, like she ain't never been for us, never.
Nope. She was the top cop in her zone before she even became what she wanted to be today.
Exactly. And
She
she
wasn't
have
even black until she
incarcerated
ran for
so many.
president.
Thank you. She was quote unquote in the checkbox half Indian.
Yeah,
She
and
was
then I had posted
the
a
first
little post
Indian that was
earlier,
the first
right?
Indian that was in that position at that.
Mm-hmm. And then someone had posted earlier, I guess, I don't know if it's a true copy of her birth certificate or whatever, but under it, it says she's Caucasian. So,
Yeah, because the reason why is because in India, um, uh, you could refer to the Caucasus Mountains of Asia as that tribe. They share the same tribe.
right.
So when it comes to Asians and Caucasus whites, if you want to be specific with the census, it's the same. When you check that box, it's the same. They don't check Indian because Indian with the word is with Native American with that word. So she's right on that spectrum, and even worse, she even said Kamala Harris is that's not really my name, and I had to keep watching that like what are you talking about? She openly saying that's not her name. So so what's going on? Like what who's being played? What's really going on? Somebody running game.
Yeah, I totally agree. And really, the whole Democrat Party is running game on everybody because they're trying to get the black vote.
That's it. That's it. And they try to attack anybody who even speaks out like that. It don't matter where you at. You could be at work. Sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree a lot of times because we're in that climate.
Yeah, and like I was saying to people, like Joe Biden been in office for what, over 40 something years. What
Over
can he
40
do
years.
now that he ain't did in all these years? He was the VP for Obama. So
Exactly.
he didn't do nothing for her. So what is he gonna do now that he could have did then?
Obama, he's gonna do. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna let Kamala Harris be the president for him. So he's
Well,
just gonna be the older white face, and she's gonna be the acting. She's gonna be doing the acting. She's gonna tell him what to say. She's gonna tell him what to do when it comes to the debates. She's gonna speak for him because he can't complete a sentence. He doesn't know where he's at. He don't know what city he in. He about 78 years old, about to be 80. His family's not taking care of him, obviously. Um,
If he actually makes it back into the White House, he's just gonna wander around the halls looking for Barack.
I would never forget the time when you told me you would not. Don't be surprised if you catch him just in the flower garden somewhere naked, like walking around. And then they're just gonna cover that one up and be like, oh well.
So he's just gonna walk out on stage. The lights are gonna hit him. He thinks he just woke up. He's just gonna whip his dick out. He has no clue where he is. He's gonna whip his dick out.
That shit never gets old, bro. That never gets old, bro. But
because that's
I know old people.
That's the shit that really happens with these guys.
Right, I know old people.
Starts going away.
I actually seen somebody do that in public on the corner, at the corner store, in a wheelchair. Old man, younger than Joe Biden. I'm walking home. I go past the old man. He got his junk all the way out. And this man like this, like kids walking by. I'm like, bro, if you don't put that away, I'm gonna mace you in your stuff.
You're gonna mace your dick.
Yeah, I'm gonna mace it.
That'll make you cover it.
But then I started thinking, I'm like, dang, he could have like some mental issue. Like he may not know. He may think he in the living room. Like when it comes to old people, they could get like that. You know what I'm saying?
So I got a question. All BS aside, if the Democratic Party win, what do you think our future is looking like?
Bleak.
Oh my god. It's gonna be firearm confiscation is gonna be guaranteed.
Worst revolution ever.
Exactly. I kind of feel like had Hillary won, I feel like we'd have already been in FEMA camps. We probably would have been dosed up with they vaccines and chips and everything else already.
Oh, so this is the older guy she was with back in the day that basically said,
that's Willie Brown.
That's your boy.
Yeah, that's Willie Brown.
Look at Kamala though.
Right, like
look how light skinned she is.
Right,
man. She know how to play a game. She play that game good to people that she is able to mentally run. Like if you able to mentally run that game on people who don't care, like they just willingly ignorant, it's going to just continue to happen. But that's
half part of the population right now. People are.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
And if people don't wake up, we all are going to be doomed in the end.
Exactly. All right,
that's why Obama stayed in the office for so long, because everybody seen the blackface and thought he was the man, but like he screwed us all. He bombed how many countries that the mainstream media didn't ever talk about?
Not even just that. He was so cavalier with who he was beefing with overseas. He said, "Look what I did to Saddam Hussein." Yep. He just said that just like a mobster. Like, I'll take you out too. And look what I did to Gaddafi. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, bro. You killed him. They got the video on YouTube right now of them shooting Gaddafi up and him like this bleeding, and they taking his golden 1911 from him that his son gave to him for a birthday present.
Wow.
And now it's worth millions of dollars because some tribe that Obama helped give them the money to fund their militia actually captured and killed the man. But at the same time, you supposed to be pro this, pro that, pro black, and you bragging about taking out another Muslim on the strength. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
exactly.
Man.
And then not only that,
Gaddafi was not that bad, to be honest.
As far as him being gay or whatever, or pedophile, which I'm sure it is because there's so much proof out there. But
we see the video.
Why was the only president to legalize gay marriages? Like, never in the history of niggerdom would no president do that.
Because I still believe, which many Republicans still believe, God daggone, his wife was slangling and dangling and tucking something up under that skirt.
Yep.
And
I believe that. And you can't tell me different.
if you could see him walking, and she tucked the joint, and then he laughed like, "Ha ha ha! You caught it on camera."
Right. And
And
several
then
times he's been caught saying, me and my Michael. Like, come
see,
on now. And then Joan Rivers said we already had the first gay president with Obama. And then like a week later during her surgery, she died. Like, come on, when she called Michelle
she was the one who admitted it.
Yep.
Verbally said, "We all knew it. We all know. They
Yep.
just don't want us to tell you because it's like Hollywood. You know, it's like Hollywood. Like they play you visually, and once you believe that lie, they sold it to you. You bought into it. Now that's your life now. Now you're living in a false reality.
I have a hard time really getting into that conspiracy theory there. It's interesting, okay?
Yeah.
And I've definitely had that argument with some people and people on the right, and they accuse me of being a Democrat. I'm like, okay, whatever. But see that I think the left and right can fall into the same holes. Where they'll believe any conspiracy theory, and they'll just say horrendous things to you if you disagree with them.
Right.
So I've had that discussion with them where I'm like, look, at best it's interesting, at worst it's Photoshop. I don't know, I can't fully get into it, and I think it's kind of a red herring. Why focus on the craziest portion of his presidency when you can focus on his presidency itself, like the Fast and the Furious scandal? Or the So the Fast and the Furious scandal is probably the greatest example of how people on the left do not understand anything about guns whatsoever. So under the Obama administration, with Obama leading this Fast and the Furious operation, they released thousands of guns to narcos, to what do you call it? Gangs, terror organizations, the cartels, and the intent was to trace these guns, using the serial numbers. But they have no clue how that stuff works. Once you give something to someone, it's just gone. Okay, it doesn't have GPS on it. It was just gone. Somehow those things wound up in the Paris attack.
Oh shoot! I didn't know that.
They really didn't want to cover that. Some of those guns also wound up in the hands of a lot of cartels and killed a lot of federal agents. A lot of federal agents trying to track down the drugs. Well, these cartels were literally armed by Obama because he was thinking, well, this is a good way to track the weapons to see how they're getting around. No, this isn't like, you remember for a while there we had the findgeorge.com. Everyone was writing that on the dollars, and like you would go to the website and log it in like, oh, I have it here in Wisconsin,
Right.
There's nothing like that for guns.
Exactly.
Cartels were not getting onto the internet and going, I have a new gun. Okay, and I'm telling Obama where it is now. No.
Right.
He just released thousands of guns to all these criminals, thinking that somehow that was going to work. Well, the cover story is he was trying to track it, but I don't know. That's a really dumb cover story.
Well, he's the big mobster who just shipped trillions of dollars overseas to Iran off the strength of his power until that information got out. So, I mean, a lot of things like that. I'm trying to understand that also, because imagine if the script was flipped and Trump did that. What would the response be?
Oh, 24-hour, 24/7
he's funding
news
proxy
coverage.
wars. He's funding proxy wars in the Middle East, and he did all of this, making Israel actual nation, actual capital of their nation, or whatever you want to call it. With however, peace in the Middle East, which he is actually doing right now. Within this week, and between last week and this week, he's actually feet on the ground, boots on the ground, doing it right now. if he was to do that right now, y'all would be calling him just a mass murderer. He's just giving all these Middle Eastern people money, knowing they're gonna use it on their people and they're gonna use it on us, and they gonna blah blah blah. And like they gotta pick and choose exactly what angle they want to go to. If you're gonna pick a narrative, you got to be able to flip the script both ways with with that light skinned president or with that brown skinned president. You got to figure out if the narrative for one side is going to fit. Just imagine if you flip that script. Keep that same energy. That's all I want. Keep the same energy for that story, for this story, for that narrative. And also, how do you feel about let me see, because I got my topics are like written down almost. How do you feel about what were we talking about earlier? Blacks, BLM going looting, BLM going to suburban areas to where they assume predominantly white people live, upper class, and telling them you got to get out of here. Our ancestors lived on this land, and us taking your house is reparations. Taking your house, like what you gonna do for us? This is my house. Screaming at you outside your house. You did went worked hard, got your house, got your property, did everything the right way. But somebody who don't know you is trying to tell you that you are descending, you are inheriting from the slave masters because you're successful. Like, come on, man.
Wait, so you saying if somebody was outside your house telling you this?
Oh nah, we could pull it up. It ain't no if. They already did it. I had played it early before you got on here. My bad. I'm gonna show you what they already doing. They ain't no if. It's already being done. They already out here saying da da da. Ooh, your ancestors. That's my house, basically. Checking, scoping that joint. That's my house. What you gonna do for us? That's my house. Ooh, you need to give me your house, basically. But they saying they even going worse, saying, "Ooh, I'm gonna show you," because they getting deep.
Yeah, I ain't seen it.
They got too deep into it, so I gotta show you. All right, I got you. But yeah, the climate getting crazy, man. Climate is getting crazy. Alright, here we go.
That's when you exercise your gun rights.
Yeah, and it's funny because
Pretty much.
before I even the moment that I started looking into being an armed security officer when I was fresh out of high school, I started reading about gun rights. I didn't know nothing about it. My family didn't teach me about nobody, no black person taught me about gun rights except for maybe some random nerd that said you could get a shotgun from Walmart and walk right out. Without other than that, I ain't know nothing.
Gun laws didn't exist until the slaves were freed.
Thank you. Boom. Boom. Slave mentality. Once you break that chain, game over. You come over here if you want to. That's up to you. That's your situation, your prerogative. But I'm about to pull it up right now. I found it. This is crazy.
Just when you thought they couldn't get any stupider. This video is brought to you by Beat Monster Tatum Store. Beat Monster Tatum Store. The commercial link in the description section. If you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell.
Appreciate everybody for joining this live.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the join button so you can join the Tatum Squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this,
please,
ladies and gentlemen. Just when you think they can't get any stupider, these BLM protesters, they just keep one-upping each other. Think about this for a minute. They are storming the suburbs of Seattle. They are storming the suburbs of Seattle, or they would call the white neighborhoods in Seattle. They're storming them, claiming that white people need to give up their homes so that black people can go live in them because they've been gentrified. All of this BS that just continue to go on, they continue to push this message of foolery, weakness, and lies. Look, man, if y'all didn't make the right decisions, you did not build economic success, this is what happens. You can't. Why are you blaming the white people? And white people aren't the only ones are part of the gentrification. People with money are a part of gentrifying. Black people who got money are a part of gentrifying. Indian people who have money, Native people who have money, Hispanic people who have money, and white people who have money. Pretty much everybody who has money are a part of the gentrification. So why is it that it's okay for BLM to just attack white people and claim that they're racist and they need to move out? I want you to listen to this clip. There's profanity in it. I'm just gonna, if you don't want to listen to it, fast forward. There's profanity in it because I need you guys to hear very clearly what these fools are saying, how they're conducting themselves, and what they represent. As the guy goes up to the window with his pants sagging. Roll the film.
You live in a historically black neighborhood. You live in a gentrified neighborhood. You're part of that gentrification. So how are you gonna fix it? What are you gonna do to fix it? Because you're part of that gentrification. Gentrification. How do you plan to fix it? Because you are living on black people land right now. Yeah. I mean, native land, but black people live here too. Yeah. So how do you plan to fix it? As a gentrifier, because you are part of that problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is pure anger. This is not equality. This is revenge and anger. Yelling. I used to live in the neighborhood. What are y'all doing? Spend your time fixing the other neighborhoods that's occupied by black folks. How about you spend your time? Why don't you go to your neighborhood and yell? Why don't you go to your neighborhood and build something? Right. Why are you going to the neighborhood where you claim is all white? And the funny thing is, they go to a white person. They're not going to anybody else. If you ever been to Seattle, Seattle is probably one of the most diverse places that I've ever been to. I've been to the mall in Seattle, get my son a haircut in the mall. There's Indian people, there's Asian people, there's black people, there's white. I mean, there's all kinds of culture in Seattle. People that obviously don't live in the United States of America. A lot of people from Canada come to Seattle. Immigrants are in Seattle. Seattle is a melting pot. But they find one white person in the community to be racist against. This is racism. People like you. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen. Just go down imaginary lane with me. Just imagine if white people who were pushed out of a community by wealthy black people will go to a black man's doorstep. A bunch of white people yelling with bullhorns go to it and say, people like you. People like you. This used to be an all-white area. People like you need to give up your stuff and let us live in here. Cussing them out, saying all kind of derogatory stuff. How would the country receive that? Then my question to the world is that why don't we receive it the same way that we would receive it if the roles were reversed and it was white people yelling at a black person? It is just as disgusting to me if the roles were reversed and white people were yelling at a black person than if black people are yelling at a white person. It's just as disgusting. It's just as delusional and disgusting, hateful and evil. But somehow, not us, because we smart. You and I, we smart.
Yeah.
All these other people, they're too delusional to look at things in a realistic perspective. Gentrification and all this other stuff that people make excuses about year after year after year is not getting you anywhere.
Nope.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about gentrification. You need to be focused on what are you doing in your own community to make your community better. What education have you gotten so you can give back? Because I guarantee you, every single person that has become successful and that is black, 95%, they move out of these inner city black communities. I'm talking about if you look at the big picture all around the country. I'm not talking about somewhere in Atlanta. I'm talking about now, you look around the whole country. When black folks make it, they move out of the black community and go live with the white people. Yep. I'm keeping it real. You want me to keep it real? You want me to play games? They leave the community, go live with white people.
That's
all these NFL players. Do the Chicago Bears live in South Chicago? No, they don't.
Hell no.
Wherever the rich people live in Chicago, that's where the football players live. Or they live in the uptown. They don't live in the hood. Now, do I blame them? No, I don't. Because the hood has nothing to do with black, white, green, or orange. The hood is poverty.
Thank you.
And then you can move to get somewhere where you're safe and you have amenities that they just don't have there. But if you're going to be a complainer, if you're going to be crying about gentrification, then you should be going to these major NFL players and black people who are wealthy and tell them, why don't they come buy up this community?
Thank you.
Why don't they come buy up these homes?
Hood.
Why are they not gentrifying their own community? They got the money. No, they don't do that. They go live with the white people.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. I ain't never seen somebody, NFL or not, that was rich and they go move in the hood to build the hood up. It's not happening. It's not happening.
It's never gonna
and some of these college kids,
they don't care.
They know they're scared at night when they're in sketchy areas. They know that they don't have their college dorm room, or at least their housing. They're not going to have it in the hood. They're going to try to stay near campus. And they're going to give all these lectures about how not to, try to entertain the homeless, how to defend yourself at night. They go through all these courses, and they are open and understanding that these communities are devastated. But they don't go help. They don't live in the community. They just complain. And that's why I draw the line. Stop complaining and do something about it. Quit being weak, quit being a phony, quit being a fraud, and go do something about the things that you're complaining. Stop looking to the white man to do something for you today. Stop looking for the white man to make excuses of why you're not progressing. The reason you're not progressing is because you walk around with your pants sagging and you're yelling at people talking about their parents should have swallowed. How do you rationalize? How can anybody rationalize with you? And that's
I know that was going to trigger you.
Running around screaming and cussing at people is not going to get you anywhere. You're in a bullhorn. How much you be smart enough to set up a community meeting and talk to the people in the community and say, how do we work together to get more black people in this community? How do we work together to do the things that I want to get accomplished? Do we have a mutual understanding? But they don't want that. They want hatred. They want vitriol. And a lot of the reason why they're doing this because they ain't got no job. They sit at home. The government is paying them money to go out and protest.
From you.
And I'm not exaggerating. If you are unemployed right now because of COVID, then they pay you unemployment check or they pay you a stimulus check. You use that check to feed yourself, and then you go out in the streets and you protest all day.
Right.
That's what they're doing. If you don't believe it, look at it for your own eyes. I'm glad I don't live in Seattle. I will never live in Seattle unless I'm probably living in Bellevue or live somewhere in the outskirts around Seattle. I will never live in Seattle proper. I just won't do it. I won't do it. Maybe I'll get a house.
Wow, that was good and deep. But he's speaking facts though, because the hood will always be the hood. It's never, you can never satisfy the hood. That's
it's
why
a mental thing. And a mental thing.
Yep.
I need to take off.
They think they can satisfy them.
DJ, I need to take off. It's getting late for me.
All right, no problem, brother. I got
my drill weekend, and if you check the private chat, that link takes you to the reason why we never hear about Kamala Harris's husband.
Let me look at it. Boom. Oh, all right. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm about to drop that link too. Wow.
See it?
Right. Oh, yeah, got it. Appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Miss Monique.
You too.
Absolutely lovely.
Thank you. We'll have to do this again. I like this chat.
Ain't no problem, y'all. Ain't no problem.
Yep, bring up some more topic of discussion, and we can go in.
Alrighty.
All right.
Good night.
All right, have a good night.
All right. So right now it is just me and you. Do you want to continue? Do you got some free time, or what's up?
Yeah, I can continue for a few more minutes or so.
All right, that's cool. So you go ahead if you want to say something.
Let's see
what you just saying.
More topics about, but yeah, like what dude was saying with the Black Lives Matter. I mean, you can't really blame them because half of them people on there they was paid to do that. They part of that Antifa shit. So what can
That's
you
just coming
expect?
out. That's
Yep.
just coming out that
Yep.
somebody and they recording it and they people telling people shh on video.
Mhm.
Know what I'm saying? Like the not fucking around coalition came out, and then your boy, what's his name? I don't even know the leader's name, but it's anyway. The nigga that was holding 2 ARs, but you can't shoot 2 ARs in one hand. His
Right.
ass. Or saying once you cock it back, I just fired the gun. Like and he was paid to basically miseducate people. He was paid to just walk around with guns. Worst part about that is when y'all ended up having y'all biggest rally, somebody got shot.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Black Lives Matter. Like, come on, bruh.
Yep. Once the little whole thing got hijacked, it never it's not dealing with Black Lives Matter anymore. And to be
Bruh.
honest, it kind of never was,
The
because
person
like
who
I said,
founded the organization is a white homosexual from
exactly.
the Ukraine.
Mhm.
I had to figure that out
And
because I
and
was
he
like,
and
okay,
he's been kicked out of so many countries for being doing all his dirt. Like, people
yeah,
don't even
that's
want to deal
socialism
with
shit.
dude no more.
That's
The Soros
socialism shit.
dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, man, some people need to understand what's going on, and more we get more documentation. Everybody that need more documentation, I advise you right now. TatumReport.com is where you get that literal documentation. When the people say, "Where's your proof?" Yeah, all these arguments. Where's your proof? Where's your proof? Where's your proof? We got we got documentation on the TatumReport.com. Go to it. I'm just gonna shoot the link. I'm just gonna shoot the link in the next 2 minutes, just so y'all have it. But that's the
And
place where you could cross-reference actual documentation from court cases from all of the police situations, all of the Black Lives Matter situations, and all of these situations from Breonna Taylor, every last one of them.
exactly.
We got them all. All the stuff that they say is uh the reason why we hitting the streets. Look at what happened and forget social media for like 2 minutes. Like type up, boom, boom, boom. I mean, freedom of information act is so powerful. That's how certain people get information.
Right.
We need to do more due diligence and spread that word to our people.
Yep. And the thing about that is, like, even with the proof and documentation, people don't want to do their own research. Like, for me,
Exactly.
I I ain't been into politics and certain shit for a while. It took me losing my dad and just having time on my hands to start researching shit and questioning everything for me
Mm,
to finally see what the fuck is going on. And it's a whole lot of shit going on that people need to wake up to.
yeah.
Otherwise, we are literally fucked.
Mm, you ain't lying. You are not lying. And it's crazy because I be asking myself, I'm like, do some people just wait until that bubble pop and then stuff at their literal doorstep for them to go, oh, I was wrong. Like, come on, bro. Just like Lightfoot, Dirty Foot. She
Right.
waited until protesters was outside her house to holler at Trump and go, hey, we need to get them out of here. Like, come
Right.
on, bro. You were the one saying that they was cool until they came to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And now your Secret Service, like, what you gonna do? It's got like 50, 100, 200 people outside. It's only a few of us. We ain't got that much ammo. Like
Right.
for real. Like reality. You living on that high hill. Like, come on, bro. You gotta think. Don't. If the police is telling you they're not being prosecuted, the prosecutors not doing their job, your police saying that in your meeting, and then you pop out the cut saying, "Oh, don't bait us, don't bait us, don't bait us," because we tell them they asking you true questions that the police gotta physically deal with. You don't physically deal with shit. You a talking piece. You just talk for the state. You
Right.
just talk for your city and leave. and got your Secret Service and go on your high hill in your little castle. And then you got your little gods that most people don't own or have. So you could live on the outside skirts of society in which most people don't live like that. And have your talking points that don't make sense. Like
Exactly.
something gonna have to give. And I already think that it's gonna be somebody in high power that's gonna be physically harmed or affected for this whole shape to go down. And everything gonna go down just like that when we talk about, if you want to talk about, if you
Yep.
want to call it civil war, I don't know what you want to call it, but I think the shit gonna hit the fan soon. I'm a prepper. I believe in prepping. You know what I'm saying? I promote stuff like that. So it's definitely gonna have to be a change real soon. And within the next few months, we ain't even gonna know what's gonna happen because if they agree with the mail-in voting stuff, everybody agreed that Democrat or Republican, if you officially do the mail-in voting stuff, which they trying to put another $1 trillion or $1 billion into the USPS boom, mail-in voting shit, it's gonna be at least 2 to 3 months to finish counting the votes and then
Exactly.
solidifying the votes and then getting the fraud votes out of there. And like we
And
already dealing with it
they
at
already messing
pre-election.
with
We already
like some
dealing
of the
with it now.
ballots now, like changing
That's
them
what I'm saying.
from.
We dealing with it now.
Yeah, we dealing with it. So yeah, I I truly think like once the election come up, a whole lot of shit finna hit the fan. I don't know who gonna win. I really do hope Trump wins so he can finish his journey or whatever that he is trying to do as far as draining the swamp and getting all these corrupt pedophile motherfuckers. But in the meantime, in between time, he need to be busting them moves now just in case he do get out of there. Because if they get back in the office, we all fucked, literally.
Mm-hmm. We ain't never that. Man. Alright, I'm gonna play this joint right here. Cause I don't mess with your boy Bill de Blasio. That man is something else based on what's going on now and what recently happened. I'm about to show you.
Okay.
Cause this touched my heart. Cause I'll never forget the day.
This video is brought to you by TatumReport.com. TatumReport.com. Get the link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you feel subscribe to my channel. Hit the join button when you join the Tatum Squad. Like this video.
Oh shit, my bad.
Comment on this video. Share this video. Get into this. This article was brought to my attention from the Tatum Report. Bill de Blasio. I don't
Let me link the
understand.
Tatum Report.
I can't get it, man. Bill de Blasio believes that it's unsafe for people or workers to put together the light structure and whatever else is necessary for the 9/11 celebration or the light show or commemoration or memorial, whatever you want to call it. It's unsafe for them to do that when the COVID is out there, but it's totally fine. It's totally rational and fine that all these BLM people can get out there and paint Black Lives Matter in the middle of the road in front of Trump Tower, brushing up against each other, laughing, giggling, hugging, taking photos to put Black Lives Matter down, but you can't do nothing for 9/11. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it says to me. It says to me that Bill de Blasio thinks that George Floyd is equivalent of a sacrificial example as members that have lost their lives on 9/11, because he wouldn't dare stop a celebration, a memorial, whatever you want to call it, in the name of George Floyd and BLM, but he will stop one of the events that changed our country forever, where we saw true heroism by the men and women in uniform, not only in domestically or not only abroad, but domestically. I mean, They're not even comparable. George Floyd was a crook that got into an unfortunate situation. But people on 9/11 didn't have nothing to do with this. We were attacked. And Bill de Blasio think they're equal. Or matter of fact, he think that George Floyd's memorial or celebration of Black lives is more important. It's crazy to me, man. And I don't understand how people who have the flexibility to move would ever stay in any jurisdiction that Bill de Blasio is responsible for. I don't get it. It's very hard for me to fathom the level of foolery that people will go through just to be woke, just to out-woke each other. Bill de Blasio got caught several times during this whole scandemic. He got caught several times not wearing a mask. You're only supposed to travel in New York for essential work. This fool going to the park with his wife, no mask, no nothing, traveling with an escort team of people so they can go walk the park. But you got to stay at home unless it's mandatory. I'm telling y'all, I know you feel the same way I feel. I know y'all feel the same way I feel about this stuff. Every time I read it, it gets dumber and dumber. I don't know how woke are they going to try to get? To at what degree are they going to try to out-woke each other? Or they're going to try to be engulfed with TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome? To what end? You already done defunded the police department. You already done had crime rates that go up 200% and 300%. You already got the cost of living in New York is already too high to start with.
Thank you.
And then y'all had the most cases. Y'all shutting down the most stuff. And now you go and pull a stunt like this. I mean, do you want to alienate the entire country?
Yes.
Just to push an agenda?
Pretty much.
I think they do. Matter of fact, I know they do. This is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. Bill de Blasio should be ashamed of himself, even upset with himself for making such foolish statements as if they cannot work to produce a memorial for men and women who lost their lives in a terrorist attack, but they can somehow do a memorial service or a celebration for Black Lives Matter, an organization that's directly funding the Democratic Party. Don't believe me? Look at my other video. Don't believe me? Where's Act Blue? Where that money going to? All you gotta do is Google Act Blue, Google where their money go. Democratic candidates. Now I can make a whole video about that and talk to you for 3 or 4 more hours, but I need you to watch the rest of my videos. Hit the link in the.
But hey, so how you feel about that? Like that's messed up, man. Everybody knows how we felt and where we was at with the 9/11.
It's been crazy. Like I swear I don't get it. Like everybody had to stay in the house, but when George Floyd died, all of a sudden, it's okay to go out and protest, be close to it. Ain't nobody social distance and no masses.
None.
Like, this is crazy.
They was even asking that question in Congress over and over and couldn't get a definitive answer from Fauci. I don't mess with Fauci. I don't fuck with Fauci. Just said at all. I just he couldn't answer the question when they was asking him, do protests increase the risk for the COVID? All he could say was, in large gatherings, the COVID is more susceptible. You ain't just say yes.
Exactly.
To be honest, say we messed up. We need to figure it out. Why can't they just figure it out?
It's been a lie. It's been like the fucking mortality rate is what 0.001 or some shit.
Exactly.
Virus
it's not even a 1%.
So deadly. If this virus is so deadly, why is there not biohazard bins everywhere for dirty ass gloves and masks that people are taking off?
Cross-contamination is out of control. We got the mask on, right? Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example in my store. Which B. Tatum, he said the same thing. He used this as a specific example. What he said was, I walk in the store. Now, some companies, Home Depot, they probably got a stock on it. these little plexiglass shields in every store.
Yeah,
That they
every store.
monopolize.
Exactly.
That data monopolized now. Somebody getting big money on the stock somewhere. Somewhere, y'all. Somewhere, if you want to look up money, that's where you need to look up tonight. But
you
then,
hiding us behind this plexiglass, but you touching everything that I'm finna take home.
oh, even beyond. Oh, you need this part. I work in AutoZone. You need this part. All right. Oh, the machine don't work. Let me test the machine. Forget hand sanitizer. Let me correct the machine for you. It didn't work. It didn't beep your car. All right, I got you. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get the money in my hand to your hand. Boom, boom, boom. The dirtiest thing on the planet is called money. As far as germs are concerned, it touches everybody, and it's so fucking old. It touches everybody. So, okay, boom. No hand sanitizer at that point. Then I take the mask. Then the clerk takes the mask off to drink some water, to put the water back down, put the mask back on. Like then it's just getting out of control. You can't even be real with it. People that it's like people that have PTSD don't even recognize that they can't fully not cross contaminate. They don't even realize they're not doing it. All these feared stuff that they're saying, they can't even fix the part that you ain't washing your hands after you touch some money. You ain't doing half the stuff that they said it was gonna kill us. So that scamdemic, man, we gotta get over that.
Like hella static on my side. I don't know if it's mine.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, that's on your side. Can't make no it. Sound like interference.
Yeah, but I believe the cure for the COVID is gonna be the election. Once that is over, it's gonna mysteriously disappear, depending on who the candidate is.
Yeah, you ain't lying. And how you feel about blacks owning their own business? Boom, boom. Yeah, that joint still got a glitch in it. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna remove you and add you back on. See if it do something. It say something? Cause it sound like it went away. Oh, frozen. A little bit of technical difficulties, y'all. But we figured this out along the way. Well, I guess I'm probably gonna close this out since we done got froze up. But I appreciate everybody for coming on this live on this channel, and we are gonna do this again. Appreciate the guests, Monique, and we definitely gonna have more guests on. I like y'all to go to I like y'all to go to TatumReport.com, not Detail Report. TatumReport.com. Link is in the message board, is in the message feed, and also click the link for the information about the Kamala Harris's old affair that she had, and the reason why she didn't want to give details on that one. But I appreciate everybody for checking me out. You know what this is. You know this channel. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. And we will get back at you guys another time. Appreciate you. Keep doing it. God bless. And keep it American.